Yeah. And would you, I know you do with your sponsors, you sometimes do some sort of gaming days and stuff like that. Is that again something with the community aspect that you're going to encourage in the future?
I actually, well, when we move downtown, I'll be very close to ANC Games, which is one of our sponsors, and they have opened up what they call ANC World. Essentially, it's a giant room with probably about 15 to 20 systems and televisions where you can actually go there, pay $5 to go for the whole day. I don't know if they changed the price, but don't quote me on that one. But
Yeah.
it might be $10 now, but you basically pay $5 to $10 and you can play all day and play any game you want. You can actually bring down games from upstairs,
Yeah.
which is just ridiculous. So
Yeah.
if you feel like you need to play GoldenEye, you can actually request it. They'll go upstairs because they have the store right upstairs,
Yeah.
bring down the game, and now you're playing GoldenEye with your buddies. So it's like that's really a community gaming event that I can get into.
Yeah. And
I love that idea.
is that so? That's just going to be, I guess, for the local fans. There's no plans to sort of expand to fans in other cities or anything like that. Have you ever thought about that?
Well, we've been talking to Video Games Awesome about going to Vancouver because there's two channels out there, Video Games Awesome and um, Happy Console Gamer. They're both in Vancouver,
Yeah.
and we've been kind of talking about flying over there and being on both of the shows, so that might happen. But other than that, going into the States, we're just not big enough yet
Yeah.
to really do that. I mean, if we signed the Machinima deal within 7 months, we probably would have been. But it's that again, that wasn't a draw for us.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would love to go around to the Comic Cons and all that stuff to meet the fans,
Yeah.
and hopefully, we're big enough to do that one day.
Yeah. And so we're talking a lot about sort of how the channel's going. I'm just gonna just ask you about sort of the videos themselves for just for a little bit.
Yeah.
So when how do you think your style has changed? I know you said you aim not to change as people as your channel grows, but how do you feel that your style of reviewing and debating has changed as your channel has developed?
I think that we've just the style really for us, other than visually, I mean, it looks a lot better because we've upgraded the equipment. We went from a Sony FX1, which was the same camera they used to film Paranormal Activity. Um, we had that camera
Yeah.
for probably 9 months, 10 months, um, and then we sold it and grabbed the the Canon 60D, which is what we shoot with now. And you probably noticed the videos compared to that,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they, they just look incredible now.
Yeah.
So um, that is really the only thing well, visually that's changed. The set has become a little bit better over time, but I think we've just loosened up a little bit and gotten used to talking to the camera. It was in the beginning, it was a little awkward, and you could tell in the first couple of reviews we just didn't know what we were doing. But at this point, I mean, I'll be very candid here. The first 9 months of 3KB, um, it's kind of a miracle that it's still going because the first 9 months we were kind of I would say I was the most difficult one because I'm a perfectionist
Yeah.
and I always had this vision in my head and I was very stubborn for the first probably 12 months of the show. And I mean, there's a lot of footage that you don't see of us arguing and whatnot. But I guess what's changed behind the scenes for us is we just get together now and have fun.
Yeah.
It's not really about being serious anymore.
Yeah, and
Um,
how long have you known the other guys on the show? So you got Mike and Kat. How long have you known them? And was it sort of a group thing, a group decision to start the channel as well?
well, to answer the decision on the channel, I think the decision was always that I wanted to start the channel, and Mike obviously wanted to be a part of it. So
Okay.
that's how that started. I think I came up with the name. That's what Mike tells me apparently, but I'm not necessarily sure if it was me or Mike, but he
Yeah.
says it was me. I remember actually having the conversation. We were just sitting there. Kat was next to me, and Mike was on iChat, and we just talked about it, and we just came up with the name, and that was it. And Kat was involved before,
Yeah.
We started filming it. Unfortunately, she wasn't there for the first 6 episodes. So, I mean, we're all the way at 234 episodes now, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I've known Mike probably more than half of my life,
Yeah.
and we met in grade 9, I believe, or
Yeah.
possibly 10.
Yeah. So it's something you can tell when watching the reviews that you guys really sort of bounce off each other, and all your videos are really funny. You know, there's laugh out loud moments in basically all your videos, I think. Is that sort of the comedy aspect? Is that something that you have scripted, or is it all because you often see at the end of your videos you've got the sort of, I guess, the outtakes, but they're all just funny segments put together. So how scripted is sort of the comedy aspects, and how improvised is it?
Well, the show is 100% improvised.
Okay.
There's absolutely no script involved with 3 kilobytes. There's only been one episode out of all of them that's been scripted, and the scripted episode would be the console versus PC part two debate.
Yeah.
The one where it sort of starts on the set, but then goes around and Mike ends up
Yeah.
on the toilet and whatnot. That one, that's scripted.
Yeah.
That took us quite a long time to film because we're not used to reading lines. But um, all the comedy that you see on the show is just us, just being completely ridiculous. I'm not supposed to talk about what we're filming today, but I may as well give you sort of a sneak peek because this won't be online for a couple days. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's brilliant.
um, we're doing today. We're doing a thank you video for the 20,000 subs, and it's. I don't want to say what's involved with it. I just want to say it's probably the ideas that we have are the most ridiculous, childish, stupid ideas we've ever had. And when that thank you video comes out, I think a lot of people are going to look at it and either love it or just feel very awkward.
And is it all something? Does it all sort of come naturally to you? I guess you say you don't have any scripts, but is there sort of when you go to do a review, is there ideas in just in your head personally that sort of things you want to say or things you know are going to be funny, or is it just 100% sort of off the cuff? And how sort of how normal is that for you? Is this how you are when you're together just normally, or are you just sort of playing up to the camera sort of thing?
Um, well, that's a hard question because when Mike and I are alone, we're still on the show. Believe it or not, it's
Yeah,
still 3 kilobytes when Mike and I are walking around. To be honest, our relationship has become sort of making fun of each other, and I think
yeah,
that's what really works on the show. And you can tell when we're sort of on the same team and when we're not. But I think I think the comedy aspect of the show, I would say for me personally that maybe once an episode I'll come up with something in my head and say, "Hey, that's funny, let's do that."
yeah,
And we'll actually say it out loud like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if I did this?" And then we do that.
yeah,
Um, that happens once in a while,
yeah,
but not as often as you would think it would happen on a show like this.
yeah,
All of the comedy really just happens, and I mean, it's not even that I'm trying to be funny. It's just that's how stupid and crazy we get with each other.
yeah,
Um, I mean, to a certain degree, I think we've changed Kat in a little, I'd say in a sense, because I wouldn't say she was that outgoing in the
yeah.
beginning. And I mean, by the God of War 3 review, we had her basically licking the whole of a disc, which was just she like spit on the whole like I remember filming that saying like no just spit on the disc and lick it like it's his asshole and she was like no I'm not doing that and then we actually got her to do it
Yeah.
and that's probably the most outrageous moment on the show thus far I other than the video that we're about to shoot it involves a bathroom and some shower caps. Involves some two dogs,
Oh my.
a bed. I don't even know. It involves a dream sequence, and I don't want to give it all away.
Well, I'm looking forward to that video definitely. So you're talking about how how Kat has sort of become more outgoing. Would you say that she's the one who's changed most, almost, with as the show as it's developed?
Um, I would say in front of the camera, yes. Behind the scenes, I would say that Mike has remained, sorry, in front and behind, Mike has sort of remained the same.
Yeah.
I would say behind the scenes, I've changed probably the most over the last 6 months.
Okay. And
And that kind of, if I elaborate on that one, it kind of goes hand in hand with my personal channel.
yeah. Yeah, so just if we just you've got your own personal channel which you set up sort of recently, which is Jason3KB, I believe. Do you want to just talk about why or how that channel came about and why you started it as well?
Well, basically, what happened with that was a lot of people don't realize sort of they always want to know the behind the scenes. They always want anytime we do anything like about our favorite games or live shows or anything that they can find out more about us.
Yeah.
That's not really has to even do with video games. They love that sort of thing. Um, and I mean, I've always felt like I've been hiding some sort of like big secret to a certain degree, and that would be basically, I have panic attacks and anxiety, depression, and I've been going through that over the last sort of 9 months.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I was just sitting around one day and, sorry, one sec. Hey, come here. Come here, buddy. Quiet. I'm doing an interview. Okay, quiet. So I was sitting around and I was going through some very difficult times.
Yeah.
And I basically said to myself, I can either sit here and do this alone,
Yeah.
or I'm sure, because even before I made that channel, I would get a lot of emails from younger kids or teenagers saying, I'm having a difficult time with stuff, and I just wanted to talk to you about it. And I just decided one day to put it all on the internet and hope that it would help somebody.